You want the Muslim to change the Christians and not the Christians to change the Muslim.
You see, the Christians at the present moment, they are busy throughout the world. There are 70,000 crusaders, Christian crusaders are raising the dust in the world. The Christian world has produced more than 60,000 books against Islam from 1800 to 1950. More than 60,000. I was giving all these facts and figures at the previous meeting. There are some, out of the 70,000 missionaries that the Christian world, crusaders that have sent out, 60% are Americans. 42,000 Americans are raising the dust in the world today. Your churches are busy. Here in Birmingham, I don't know whether you know International Crusades from Canada. They have now moved to Birmingham. And they changed the name from International Crusades to International Teams. You know that? And they are now organizing teams of Christian missionaries to work among the Muslims of Birmingham. And I'm sure they're doing it here in Bradford. Christians of every denomination. Look, this young man gave his card. You know what they say? Youth for Christ. He has invited people to his home. He didn't have the guts or the temerity to ask a question. He wants these innocent people to come along for a cup of tea and biscuits so he can brainwash him. I want to know what he wants them to do at his house, when he didn't have the guts to come and ask a single question. So you say you are born again. You are born again. And I take it that your profession is preaching. Your profession is preaching. Your occupation is preaching. Yes, you are a preacher. What are you preaching only to Christians? Are you preaching only to Christians?
No, I try, as Christ said, go ye into all the world. You may ask, whereabout do I go away from England? I will say, I haven't been to nowhere else since I've been born again Christian, for it's just in England here that I became a Christian. But as I go on the street, there are many who sat in this congregation who knew me very much, for at times I associate with plenty of our people's home that I go and visit them. But my whole aim and desire is, as Christ says, tell it to the world, tell it to the nation. Christ in his loss, going away from the earth, according to St. John chapter 17, he prayed that his Father should glorify him. He said, now the time has come when I will be leaving these here, and I pray for them that you may keep them. They are in the world, but not of the world. And he goes on and he says, not only these alone, but...
Is that your question, sir? Excuse me, is that your question?
That's preaching. Let him preach. An opportunity like this he'll never get again in his lifetime. So many Muslims that they can hear him. Now, you see, this is what I say, this born again sickness. You don't know the rights of others. People, they're born again, they don't know about the rights. There's an Englishman comes along and he's going round and round in circles. He's not a speaker, he says, and he wastes everybody's 10 minutes. You see, he's born again. Everyone that is born again, he comes along to preach and he goes. Your question now, as much as you feel that you should share your faith with others, we are commanded more directly to address you. You remember in the verses that I read, I said, Qul, telling them, Allah says, Qul, tell them, Ya Ahlul Kitab, O Jews and Christians, come. See, we are told to call the Jews and you more directly by name. Ta'alaw, ila kalimatin sawa'im baynana wa baynakum. That we come to common terms as between us and you. Let us get onto a common platform. And that common platform, the terms and conditions of getting together are, number one, Allah na'budu illallah, that we worship none but Allah, God Almighty. The only God we shall worship is the God, the Father in heaven. Not Moses, not David, Solomon, Jesus or Muhammad, but the Father in heaven. Let's worship him. We said, yes, but he's a triune God. He's three in one. So we are told to tell you, wala takulu thalasa. Don't say Trinity. Intahu khairul lakum. This is, stop it, it'll be better for you. Innamallahu ilahun wahid. Oh, your God is one God. He's not three in one. So all these instructions are given to us to bring you back to the path because you have drifted away. Instead of worshipping the Father in heaven, you are worshipping Jesus. Am I right? You are worshipping Jesus. Yes. Jesus is your Lord.
Yes, but the Bible tells us no one goes to God except through Jesus Christ. Thank you.
You see, this is a sickness. What Jesus said was, he says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. That's right. No man cometh unto the Father but by me. Yes. Now, of course you know that. But if I ask you what is the context, you don't know the context. You don't know, you just quoted a thing out of text. You see, if you quote anything out of context, it's a pretext for preaching what you want to preach. That's what you have been doing. I am asking you or any other Christian that is there, what is the context of that verse? No man cometh unto the Father but by me. In what sense, with what background did he utter those words?
That if their soul should be saved.
Not the purpose, the context. You know, look man, you are an English speaking person, maybe from Jamaica, you know English, you know what is text. You quote a text, I want the context, the text that goes with it, before or after. You understand English? Otherwise, leave it to somebody who does.
Good evening, sir. I assume that you believe in prophets of God. I do as well. You believe specially in your prophet Muhammad, is that correct name? Muhammad? Yes. Right.
You were supposed to be asking questions.
Yes.
You know, not acting as a public prosecutor, you know, what about...
No, beg your pardon, if you feel that way.
You ask your question, sir, I will answer. Ask your question and finish it, and I will answer.
Do you believe that we have a prophets in these latter days living on earth, living prophets?
That's your question?
Yes.
Right, thank you. Go to the back if you have another question. I will answer that. I will answer that. We believe, I don't know, in the declaration that I made, there is no prophet after Muhammad. The last and final messenger of God is Muhammad. There shall be no prophet after him. He says, La Nabi Ba'di, there shall be no prophet after me. See, if a thing is complete, which we believe that the Quran is a complete guidance of God given to mankind. Once a thing is complete, anything you add to it is a monstrosity. This hand, yours and mine, perfect. God made it. Perfect. You can't add another finger, you can't add another thumb. You can't have 10 more fingers to improve your hand. Anything you add to this perfect hand is a monstrosity. Similarly, in the guidance of God is given to us in the Quran, perfect teaching for all times, for all people. You can't add, a prophet means a person comes along now and he can change the law. If he's God's mouthpiece, now he has a right to tell you that now you can marry your own mother. He can tell you that. If he's a prophet, he can tell you, sir, God tells me you can marry your mother, you can marry your daughter, you can marry your sister. Shh. He says, no, there shall be no prophet after Muhammad. That is what we believe. No prophet after him. Small or big, no prophet whatsoever. Yes, brother, next one.
To answer your question, is it? Excuse me, can you go back in the queue, please?
Assalamu alaikum. I'm a Muslim. We Muslim call Hazrat Isa alayhi salam, and here's a lot of Christian, they call Jesus Christ. I think it's important for me to request you that could you let the audience know here, including Christian and Muslim, what was the religion of Jesus Christ and what did he taught? Did he taught Islam, or whether he was Muslim or non-Muslim? Thank you. Thank you.
The question was, of course, you heard, what was the religion of Jesus? The religion of Jesus was Islam. The religion of Moses was Islam. The religion of all true prophets of God is Islam. Because with Allah, there is only one religion. He says, Inna dina indallahi al-Islam. Most certainly, the religion acceptable in the sight of Allah is Islam. وَمَنْ يَبْتَغِي غَيْرَ الْإِسْلَامِ دِينًا فَلَنْ يُقْبَلَ مِنْهُ. If you want a religion other than Islam, so Allah will not accept it from you. وَهُوَ فِي الْآخِرَةِ مِنَ الْخَاسِرِينَ. And you will be of the losers. Anything else other than Islam? So I said, now the religion of Moses was Islam, the religion of Jesus was Islam, the religion of speech by Muhammad was Islam. It was nothing but Islam. And the proof of that is, you ask the Jew. Start with, ask the Jew. In our line relationship, we are very closely related to the religion of Moses, Jesus and Muhammad. Three are related, very close. If Moses was alive with us, and if you asked him, oh Moses, what is your religion? I do not expect him to say Judaism. Because this word Judaism is not in his Torah, is not in his Talmud, is not in his Mishnah, is nowhere to be found in Jewish literature. The word Judaism is not to be found. You see, it's a concocted word, concocted word. But if Moses was alive and if you asked him, what is your religion? He would say that my religion is a religion of total submission to God's will. A lengthy definition. But one word for that in the Arabic language is Islam. Islam means a religion of total submission to God's will. If Jesus was alive with us today, or in his second coming if we have a chance to meet him, and if we ask him, so, oh Jesus, what is your religion? We do not expect him to say Christianity. Because if he says Christianity, we can ask him, what church you belong to, sir? Are you a Roman Catholic or an Anglican or a Presbyterian or a Lutheran or a Jehovah's Witness? Silly you would say. It's a silly thing to ask Jesus. I expect him to say that my religion is a religion of total submission to God's will. Lengthy definition. One word for that in the Arabic language is Islam. This is what he came to teach. But if the people, his followers, they took his religion off the rails, actually Paul, they are all following Paul. They are not following Jesus. If they follow Jesus, they will be Muslims. See, because Jesus was teaching them nothing but Islam. The Father in heaven, worship him. They start worshipping Jesus. See, this is not his teaching. As the Quran tells us, testifies on the day of judgment, Allah will ask him, oh Jesus, did you tell your people to worship you and your mother besides Allah? They said, oh Bari Ta'ala, oh my Lord, you know I never did any such thing. As long as I was with them, I was a watcher over them to see that they never did any such blasphemy.